Hey, everybody. Shout out to my son who made that intro. I've had it for a few years when I used to do coaching by Tamu events. That would be my trailer. And I've updated it. And I just always like it. It brings me joy. So, good night, everybody. It is Dr. Tamu of Coaching by Tamu. I am and innovative education and training. I am the creator of the High Growth Entrepreneurship Roadmap, a business model designed for female entrepreneurs who seek high growth. And of course, I am also the founder of the Her Community, and we are having one of our first pre launch events tomorrow, face to face in St. Kitts. We'll talk more about that after. Oh, I think I have something there. All right. So let's talk about why I'm here. I co create with Caribbean female entrepreneurs to create innovative and scalable ventures that deliver world class value, create global impact, and of course, allow their founders to create generational wealth. Now, remember, if you have a question, a comment, I can see it in the chat and I can bring it up on the screen, etc. So let's talk about why I'm here tonight. I'm here to talk about pitching, okay? And so I am no stranger to the pitching world. I have judged many a pitch for international organizations. I have coached many pitch. As a matter of fact, coaching by Tamu, when I used to have these events pre COVID, there was much pitching happening. I had a pitch competition. I think Sasha the artist, she is going to be hosting me tomorrow in her studio for my first Her Community face to face event. She pitched at that event. Mother Becky Bush Tish, they pitched at that event. And that was pre COVID. So I do have a lot of experience pitching. But now I am moving, well, not really moving, but I'm blurring the boundary between coach, advisor, expert, scholar, and now I'm moving to a founder builder. And so you know that I'm creating an artificial intelligence platform for entrepreneurs, high growth female entrepreneurs in particular. And so, as part of my journey, I wanted to be on the other side, the competitor side, and be in an accelerator program and pitch and all of that good stuff. So I was admitted to the Draper University Pitch Program, sponsored by Caribbean Export Development Agency. And I spent 2 weeks in that program with about 40 other Caribbean entrepreneurs doing wonderful, awesome, great things. And last week, at the end of the first week, we did have an opportunity to pitch in teams. Now, these were hypothetical businesses. And in the second week, at the close of the program, on Monday, that was, 9 people were chosen to pitch. I was so excited to have the opportunity to pitch, but I was not selected. I'm not surprised, and I'll tell you why as I move through this program. Now, what's important, or this discussion, what's important to know is that I've studied pitching. I would have interviewed for my doctoral work Black women in the United States who had received venture capital funding for their tech owned businesses. So here I am now, how many years later, doing that same thing. At that time, there were only 20 of those women in the world, and I interviewed quite a fraction of those women. So I learned a lot about pitching throughout all of this journey. But let's talk about specifically with me being now a founder builder, a tech startup founder, what pitching looks like and how it can work for you, right? These pitch competitions, because they're going to be popping up. So let's talk about let's talk about why I didn't get to pitch, right? Let's be honest. Now, someone invites you to pitch for a competition where there's actual money investment being given, they generally want to see traction, which means they want to see sales. So if you are entering a pitch competition and it is not an ideation pitch competition, because my AI startup, I'm still in my ideation stage. I still have to collect more customer insight. There are many phases I have to go through. And so I do not have any sales yet. I do not have a minimum viable prototype or product, etc. So the first pitch pointer is that you need to select. Let me put that on the screen somewhere. You need to select your pitch competition well, right? Depending on your goals. So let me talk about that some more. So let me put that pointer one. Select the right program to pitch for. Okay. All right. And what do I mean by that? Now, if you just want, right? If you just want exposure and to understand, sure, jump in. Okay. But it takes time to prepare your pitches, etc., even though they're only 2 minutes long or 5 minutes long. But you need to know that if you're really serious about pitching for money, like for the prize, for the investment, for the grant, etc., you have to understand what the outcomes of the program are or the competition are and where you are, and the two must intersect. So, if you are ready to get a co founder, you're ready to put something into test, you need money for to create a prototype, etc., then you need to enter a pitch competition where that is the prize because you're in alignment. If you want money to move from ideation to the next stage, etc., then you need to select a pitch competition that will allow for that. All right, so I have my notes. The next thing I would like to talk about, and in the research, a lot of women spoke about this, but in my experience, this is the case if you know how to work it properly. You have to know to work it properly, as we just say. Okay. So the other one, let me add the other pitch one, right? So the other pointer, so let's do pointer two. The other pointer is to understand what your needs are, right? What your needs are, and to work the program for to fill those needs, right? So know your needs, right? And understand that visibility and networking are just as important. Okay. So everyone cannot win a pitch competition. And so, though you might be going in to win, you might not win. And so, you have to focus on understanding that visibility for your business and the network that you gain is almost as important, or if not more important, than the pitch prize, especially if it's not investment. Because when people begin to engage with you in these sessions, they understand your breadth of knowledge. You also understand what other people are working on. You have a shortcut to success because you have all of these high achieving people in the space, including your pitch mentors, your pitch advisors, your judges, and you're not really going to be in a space where there's so much talent again. Yeah. So you need to be very intentional about what you want and provide visibility for your business and keep in touch with the people in that cohort, right? who can benefit the growth of your venture and your purpose. And so understand it's not just the prize, it's also about visibility and networking. Okay. Now, another pitch pointer, of course, you have to be articulate and all of this good stuff, right? But another pitch pointer is that you can have your slides, done by somebody else. When I say that, I mean slide design, right? Your pitch deck can be designed by someone else. So you can, tell your designer in Fiverr, Upwork, whatever, what you want to be on the slides and have them design it. And then you can just tweak it. Why? Because you want to, if you're not savvy, pitch programs are also pretty short. You're under a lot of pressure, and do you have time to be fiddling around with a slide deck and changing the colors? No. You want to be focused on articulating your ideas clearly and focusing on what your pitch program judges want to hear. So outsource the design of the slide, not the intellect on the slide, but the design on the slide so that you can save some time, right? Now, let's talk about some more substantive things. Like, what do you learn? Another pitch pointer is that you learn more from the questions the judges ask than even the content in the space, right? That they might have been delivering. Now, remember that a pitch program generally comes, or the pitch part generally comes after some sort of programming. So a week, 2 week of speakers, trainers, etc., 2 days of that, whatever the case may be. And then it culminates in a pitch, right? It culminates in the pitch. So sometimes, depending on how far you are in your journey, the content might not be particularly new to you. But during the pitch program, the questions that your cohort peers ask, the responses given by the advisors, and more importantly, the questions that are asked when other people are pitching are really clues about what funders want to see. So when they ask things like, well, how many people have signed up? It's because they're trying to see if you have traction. Or when they ask, well, what has been your revenue? The worst thing to do is to bumble and and you don't know. So you have to listen to what is being asked, because what is being asked is what is important to the investor. And so you need to make notes to see how you would fashion a response to said question had it been posed to you. And then it might signal for you a point of weakness in, or opportunity for improvement, if you prefer that terminology, right? It might signal an opportunity for improvement for you when reframe your pitch. Okay, because it's what's important that they're asking. So let me put that pointer three. You learn more from the questions than the content. All right. Now, another thing that I picked up, right? Being in on the other side of the table now, not a judge, not a trainer, is that it's really important not just to hear what's being asked from the investors or judges. It's not just important to hear what is being asked and answered by your trainers, subject matter experts, etc. But it's also important to look at human nature. And you will realize that throughout your engagement in the cohort, you will spot some similarities among the persons who are successful. You will learn a lot from the exchanges in the chat. You will learn a lot about things like the level of tenacity required, etc. Right? And so it's not just always about looking up at the funder, looking up at the investor, looking up at the trainer, looking up at the expert, but it's also about observing across. What are your peers doing who are more advanced in the space? How do they engage? What are the types of questions they ask? Are they a little pushier than you would have been? Which means that perhaps you might need to speak up more because, in our culture, we're like, oh my gosh, why is that person, talking so much, putting themselves out there? We see it as maybe a little forward, out of order, but then they're called to pitch, right? Because you have to realize that it is these traits along with a working business model and proof of concept and sales and revenue that has gotten them ahead. So another pointer is to learn from your peers. These are signals of success. And you shouldn't be so, I guess, focused on yourself and the experts that you ignore looking across. So I'm going to add that. Where are we now? Pointer 4. All right. Let's do pointer 4, right? Learn horizontally. Observe your peers. Right. Okay. And in observation of your peers, you're going to realize who can help you in your journey. You're going to realize it because you know what your weaknesses are. And so during the competition, you should be networking. So if it's like online, like we were online, right? Share your LinkedIn, you engage, we use Discord. So you engage in private messaging with these people. You begin to create bonds, you begin to widen your network because you now have a common experience. And so these peers will become helpmates. Some of them are further than where you are. So, like, I'm in ideation, but there are people who already have traction. They already have a working platform. Some of them are in the US, so we're here. And maybe you want to register your business in the US. Maybe you want to begin attending pitch competitions in the US. And you want to know, well, what are the steps? Well, these people you need to begin to continue to engage with them. So while you're in the competition and there's this type of affinity, etc., you need to reach out. Don't stay in your corner. Like I could have stayed in my corner and be like, well, I'm Dr. Tamu. I don't judge a million of these things. I'm an expert in entrepreneurship, etc., and not humble myself and learn from other people in the space because I'm now in a different space, right? Getting ready to build out a prototype, but there are people who've already done it, and so why take the long way? There's no reason to take the long way. So learn horizontally, observe your peers, and begin to network. The next thing I would say as a pointer is that politicians have, from a training perspective, a lot of peer work. And the idea is that because you have to work in teams and lead a team as a founder, right? And I think I'm going to talk about this at the end to it, the difference between an entrepreneur and a small business person. But when you're a founder and you're building something, particularly tech, you're going to need a team, right? You're going to need a co-founder, etc., somebody who is a business person, and somebody who is your technical co-founder. It's not expected that you would run this business on your own. Plus, it's high risk, and no investor wants that. So during the competition, there are lots of the program. There are lots of team activities, and I think pointer for me is that don't stress too much about the team activity, unless, of course, the team activity is your next step into getting admission into the final round or something like that. Just an activity, then really you should not be focused on being right, your idea coming through. You want to, learn from the others. Even if you don't agree, you can just move forward because it's a very stressful atmosphere. And you have to keep your eyes on the real prize. And the real prize is you refining your skills, applying what you learn to your business model, etc. And so I would say that when you have these team things, not that you don't complete it, but don't be, you know, like arguing in the team. I was doing that, right? Like, knocking heads. Because in these situations, everyone is a founder. And so, because everyone is a business owner, obviously, everyone is an alpha personality. So, it gets difficult. Just focus on the task, get it done as quickly as possible, and then focus on the application of the content to your business model, because that is why you're there. So if I had from, let's say, day two, began, you know, applying all of the elements to my model and not getting so sidetracked with the conversation in the team pitch, I would have made more impact on my model way earlier. Now, would I have gotten to pitch? No, because this pitch competition is not about ideation, which is where I am. They wanted people that they could actually invest in who already had sales. So, my thing is, don't be, what if I say in America, like, don't be too anal. Don't be too anal about the team story. Okay. Yes, you're going to put on a good showing because you're a brilliant person, which is why you're in the cohort anyway. So get done without too much stress, without too much tension, without too much um, team storming. Just get it done so that you can focus on the real thing, which is your business. All right. So, point of five for me is just get through your team assignments with the least tension possible, right? At the end of the day, it's about your business. So that's what's going to come up on the screen next as a pointer. All right, here we go. Right? Just get through, just get through the team assignment. Don't stress. Now, of course, I'm a designer of events, etc. And some things that I've noticed, and even when I am creating this type of programming, is that there's such emphasis on this abstract teamwork that has no direct bearing on your, and this is ubiquitous. This is across things, right? Has no bearing on people's final business, etc. It just takes away valuable time. And so even me, when I am now, and the feedback I get from participants in programs like these that I may run for other entities, they always say, you know what, I hoped that I would work more on my business, right? And not do so much team things that have nothing to do with my business. And so I feel this is an indirect pointer when you are selecting a pitch program or incubator, accelerator, etc. You really want to look at the programming and see how much of that is dedicated to work on your business. Otherwise, it can really feel like a huge time suck. It can feel like a huge time suck. So that's something else. And as I go forward, because I'm going to be doing an intervention soon outside of country, and I've actually removed the team things. Okay. So it sometimes means the cohort size has to be smaller, but people really just want to work on their business. So another pointer is to look at the curriculum. So let me put that down here, right? Look curriculum. And if your goal is to really make progress on your business, so that's pointer 6, right? If your goal is to make progress, right? On your own venture, review the programming, right? For more opportunities for that. Otherwise, you just kind of get lost in the sauce of all the team. And then if there is team and you can't avoid team, remember the pointer before. Don't, stress out yourself with your teammates and argue. Just get the task done so that you can move on to the next stage and your own business. Now, I want to talk about pitch competitions that are for technical founders. And I don't think in the Caribbean we really understand what an entrepreneur is because we use the nomenclature, the category entrepreneur for everyone that has a business. That is very incorrect. An entrepreneur is an actual creator, right, of something. So they create something new in the world. They have a new product, a new process, a new service, a new paradigm. An entrepreneur is not someone who just has a business like doing a service or something that anyone can do. So we are all in business, but we are not all entrepreneurs. And you can make more money being in a small business owner sometimes than you can make being an entrepreneur. Neither is better than the other, but I think it's important that we understand, especially for pitch competitions. So if you have pitch competitions where they're looking for tech founders or people who've created things of their own, not someone who's just delivering services, etc. So you might be delivering services, but you have your own product line that deals with a certain skin condition. Well, that product line is your invention. You have become an entrepreneur as well as a small business owner. And I think that's important, especially if you want to leave a legacy, that you understand that invention and creation is part of entrepreneurship. They cannot be separated. And that if you're not doing that, you can be very wealthy doing other things as a small business owner, but it is not the same thing as entrepreneurship. And like I said, none is better than the other, but I feel like this is a distinction that should be made. And actually, when I used to be a lecturer and teach entrepreneurship, it's the first thing I spoke about. And the reason is because the mind of an entrepreneur is different. The mind of an entrepreneur is different. The bottom line might be the same in terms of the money being made and one making more or less, doesn't matter. But so that you understand entrepreneurship, I would want to challenge you to ask yourself right now, do I want to be an entrepreneur? Or do I just, let me not say just, but, or do I want to be a business owner, small business owner? Do I want to be a creator? Do I want to be an inventor? Or do I want to just do business well, like retail, sell, market the shoes off of something because you can make money. So for instance, if you are, you own a supermarket, you own a braid shop, you own all of these things, you're a small business owner and you can be making hella money. But if down deep you want to be an owner and inventor, then you shift into the realm of entrepreneurship and you need to study those types of people because the 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 things required of one's creative space for entrepreneurship is different from what's required for small business ownership. So both of us, the small business owner and the entrepreneur, we're using our brains all of the time, but we're using different parts of our brains, and how we connect and how we deliver value in the world is different. And I think that was important to say. So I'm not on for long. I am going to be inviting you on my journey. I do have some guests lined up to come back in studio, and I have some themes this time. So stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about things like, I forgot, where's my phone? So I could tell you. But there are some themes that I'll be focusing on, like exporting, like going global from within the Caribbean, and doing business as a Caribbean person in the US and the UK. We're going to be talking about building community. And so I'll have different guests on from different countries, different parts of the world to explore these conversations with us. Now, I want to, of course, invite you to the High Growth Entrepreneurship Roadmap community, the HER community. It is free to join. The programming is awesome. The programming is out. You can see that on my Facebook or my Instagram or my website at tamubrown.com. And the goal is no different, really. The goal is that, we move as women, Caribbean women at home and in the diaspora, that we're moving to that $1 million mark, right? Because that is really the goal of coaching by Tamu. And so now the Her community is just another one of these initiatives. So I have one spot left, I believe, in my face-to-face pre-launch for Her community. We'll be doing vision boarding, but specifically around the first step on the high growth entrepreneurship roadmap. So those persons will be receiving some coaching. There's no investment to you. Of course, you bring your supplies and whatever, but in terms of the value you'll receive, you're gonna get value from Dr. Tamu. And if you like I said, there's one slot right left at this point. But if you're outside of St. Kitts and Nevis and you're like, well, I wanna learn about the revised value proposition too, and I want to do it in that fun vision board way, just go to Instagram, go to the link in the bio. Instagram is at Coaching by Tamu, and what you'll find is if the last slot is taken for the face to face, you will be, there'll be another link so that you can join the online version of the revised value proposition vision boarding event. So the online version will be available for you to slot in your seats. I think I have 30 seats available for the online version. So just go to the link in the bio at Coaching by Tamu, click that, face to face session. And if it's, the link will be there that will move you to the online session if you can't make a face to face session. So that's about it for me. Um, I'll see you soon, and hopefully with a guest. Bye, everybody. It's Dr. Tamu of Coaching by Tamu.